last week, we focused on introducing our platform, Lockdown Open Up, and we opened up a space where a lot of us who I think were experiencing a few frustrations and having difficulties with adapting to mostly the level 4 restrictions, which I think for a lot of people didn't seem to be very different from things before. But there was a lot of conversation that we held about, there was a sense of giving up maybe a bit of our freedom of choice. And in my case, I spoke a little bit about, and I know it's not the be all and end all, but my right to choose when I give up smoking and how I choose to do it. And for other people, it was the exercise and everything that was associated with it. So we created a chat group for that Rochelle guided, and we all sort of got into a really nice natural flow of conversation with that. This week, we've decided to put a sort of spin on things and create a contrast, maybe to sort of create some more of an uplifting approach to things. And anyone who's had anything positive or had a positive experience this week or anything enlightening to share, and that's what we've been basing a lot of our content and social media posts. Nikki Little contributed a nice content piece, if any of you have seen it, and she focused it on how she, through her hyper anxiety and her husband's Crohn's disease, it's almost a necessity that they try and maintain positivity in order to keep the stress levels down. So I thought it would be a nice idea to get someone whose name I've come across actually quite a bit in my social circles. Natalie from Ignite Your Life is a transformation life coach. She also works in the addiction and recovery field. But I think in light of this week's theme and everything we've been chatting about and opening up about in the group, it would be great to get her on. So welcome, Natalie. It's great to have you with us.
Thank you, and thank you for the invite. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah. Natalie, I read a bit about your, mostly it's your bio that sort of resonated with me, which reads, "To ignite in the human heart a zest for life that transcends limitations, inspires greatness and cultivates peace." I suppose that in itself is something we could sit and just unpack and have a whole session about, and without putting you on the spot. I mean, I know that that's probably something that you've been going by in your practice, but in lockdown, I think that whole sort of thing of like a zest for life is something that people, well, I don't know, there's been moments where I've struggled to maintain that. How have you come across that lately a lot? Maybe even with yourself in lockdown, and how do we sort of adapt our drive for that?
Yeah, I think, look, I mean, this whole lockdown situation is very frustrating for so many people. And I think for me personally, it hasn't affected me radically because I do most of my coaching online anyway. So it's not a massive change for me. But I think, just knowing that you're not allowed to do what you want to do is already a feeling of kind of oppression, And I think what's really helped me during this time is to concentrate on the things that I can control, because at the moment there's so much uncertainty, and I think it's the uncertainty that creates an enormous amount of anxiety, because when we can't control stuff, that's when we freak out about it. So for me, concentrating on the things that I can control, putting a daily schedule into place as well, instead of waking up every morning and winging it and thinking, I don't know what I'm going to do today, having a little daily schedule and checking in with myself on all the levels, when I say all the levels, I mean checking in with myself mentally, spiritually, emotionally, physically, and behaviorally. Because if I forget to check in with myself and really ask myself, how am I doing throughout the day? I tend to just go onto autopilot. My thoughts go onto autopilot, and that's actually when the anxiety and the frustration kicks in. You know what I mean?
I just want to maybe just take it a step back and just go into, because I think for some people, I mean, I've never come across the term transformational coach. I don't even know if I'm getting the term right. And maybe if you just want to elaborate on that and give us a little bit of context in because I think, and we spoke a bit about this on the phone the other day, in lockdown, I think if people before lockdown who weren't very good at opening up about their feelings about things and anxiety or whatever it may be, and again, it's the reason why we created this platform, is that now during lockdown, we are all having to come to terms with certain things internally. And there are more people now who want to open up, and they're slowly maybe navigating towards finding safe spaces to do that. So, which is why I'm trying to give as much context into, the whole concept of life coaching. So transformation life coaching, would you like to just chat to us about that, please?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so transformational coaching is really for anybody who is looking for positive transformation in their life. A lot of my clients come to me feeling stuck. Some of them know what they want to do, but they don't have the courage to take the action. Some people have no idea what they want to do. All they know is that they don't want to do what they're currently doing, and they're feeling stuck. And so what I do, I work with my clients. When we chatted on the phone, I said to you, the process of transformation, a lot of people think that transformation is about becoming something else, becoming something new, becoming something more or something better. And what I've found with transformational coaching is really it's the opposite. It's about unbecoming all the crap that you've collected over the course of your life. And I often use an analogy to explain the undoing. And that is, if you know the little sticky post-it notes. Okay. Yeah. So every time, if you go through your life and you think about every experience that you've had, first of all, the human brain, we discard the good experiences almost instantly as soon as they happen. The negative experiences we hang on to and we begin to obsess about. So if you took every negative experience that happens to you in your life, each time something happens, you take a post-it and you label it. So let's say in grade 8, my teacher told me that I'm going to amount to nothing in life, right? So on my little post-it, I write, I'm useless.
Oh, sorry, and then Taryn's just joined us. Hi,
Taryn. And then I take that post-it and I stick it on myself, right? Then my parents get divorced. So I write down, I see that as I'm unlovable or I'm guilty. And I post that, I put that on myself. My boyfriend breaks up with me for somebody prettier. I'm not good enough. I write that on my post-it and I put it on that. And I put it onto me. And as I go through life, I go through all these experiences. And every time something bad happens, I put it onto myself as a label. And what happens is, over the years, we start confusing the things that happen to us with who we are. Instead of it being something that happened to me, it becomes who I am, which is absolute rubbish. But that is what we tell ourselves, and that is what we believe. And so by the time we get to our 30s, if you can imagine all the post-it notes that would be on you with every negative thing that's ever happened to you in your whole life, you actually can't even see your body anymore. You can't even see what's underneath there. And in the same way, if you take that analogy and you say, every time something bad happens, you put a negative label onto yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
In your 30s, 40s, you are so covered up with labels, you actually forget who you are. And that as you go through those labels and you pull them off, and this is what I do with transformational coaching, we have a look at each one of those labels, those self-created labels, and we ask, hang on now, is this true? Is this the truth? Or is this something that somebody told me? Or is this something that I really believe? And we start shedding labels and we start shedding layers. And what happens is you really see the person coming to life. You really see their true nature shining through. Once you remove all the crap that life has dumped on you, you reveal the most amazing things underneath. And from that point, people feel an enormous sense of freedom, and suddenly they realize that they're not a victim of circumstance, but they are actually in control, and they get to decide what they want to do. And it just opens opportunities up, because we reach a point where we feel like there are no opportunities, there's no more possibilities. You're hitting your head against the wall every day. So it's a process of undoing, to basically reveal the beauty that's underneath, which is what we were created to be.
Mm. And I suppose it must be quite a difficult thing to do for some people, because you're having to possibly strip away those layers of some hard things as well. And during lockdown, while I mean, it's not the case for everyone, but I know I've had a fair amount of time to have alone time and sit with myself. And as we were saying earlier, it's put a magnifying glass. I think Rochelle also referred to it like this. It's put a magnifying glass on small things that you might have been like pressing down before, and now it's almost like lockdown in a sense, or the coronavirus pandemic, or however you want to put it, is here to kind of maybe give us a little bit of a reminder, like, okay, you can't keep pressing this aside, and you've got some time here, like maybe take a look at the stuff, because after lockdown, the things that we haven't worked on, things are going to get harder. So we've definitely got to maybe take this time to evaluate those things and unpack those layers. And I think they would be hard things to do for a lot of people. And that's also what I wanted to ask you is, I mean, Taryn posted something quite, it resonated with me earlier. She posted on the group about how she was really feeling affected by other people and the hardships that they were going through during this time, job loss and salary cuts, and not even just necessarily people she knows, but just, you know, all the awful things that are going on around her. And I asked her if that wasn't maybe affecting her narrative and maybe taking away her right to feel her pain. So I wonder, like, and that was sort of leading on to my next question, is when it comes to dealing with the emotions of others, especially if they're in a negative space, what is a sort of your advice on being a good friend or a good family member or a good partner? And I'm not always the greatest person when it comes to someone else's bad space. I mean, I am for a certain amount of time. I have like capacity and I have a tolerance level, and then eventually I'm like, okay, I'm done, and then I have to get on with stuff. And whereas Taryn's got this enormous amount of patience, and I told her the other night, I was like, why are you not in life coaching or therapy? You're incredible. It's like, you crap at taking your own advice, but you know what I mean. But whereas I
think Natalie has said that to me before as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. My question is, what are your sort of tips and advice for helping other people in a negative space and trying to uplift them, as opposed to having a short fuse because we're all trying to deal with our own stuff at the moment?
Okay, yeah, this is a very tricky one, and it's such a good question, because there are so many people that are struggling, and especially for the empaths out there, you really connect with other people's struggles. The thing is, this may sound a little bit self-centered or callous, but the thing is that if your cup is not full, if you are not okay, you cannot help somebody else. So for me, in order to help other people, I need to make sure that I am okay, that I'm okay mentally, that my heart is okay, that for me, I believe in a higher power. So I'm connected to something that's bigger than me. And it is wonderful to check in with those people who are struggling. But what I do caution people about is, if looking after them is taking away from your sanity or your serenity, that's where you have to just bring in an awareness around that. Because you can't give somebody what you don't have.
Yeah.
I can't, if I hate myself and I hate my life and I hate the world and I'm angry with everybody, I cannot be useful to another person. I cannot, like we say, ignite that fire in them. So I think it has to start, the caring and the kindness and the connecting first has to start with you. Because the relationship that we have with ourselves actually sets the tone for every other relationship and for every interaction that you have with anybody in the day. If you start out in the morning and you say, flip, another day, don't know what I'm going to do, this is so useless, I just hate it, I can't do anything, I can't go anywhere, I can't go out, this sucks. That energy that you put out there in the morning, you are going to transfer that to each and every person that you interact with during the day. So it's important to just be grounded within yourself and to be kind to yourself first. Speak kindly to yourself. And when you love yourself, it is really easy to give, but it's not easy to give when you're not full. You know, if I'm already feeling kind of fragile and empty and anxious, there's not really much chance that I can be terribly useful to anybody else. I don't know if that kind of answers your question.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. I definitely agree with that. I never used to buy into that at all.
Mm-hmm.
But because I don't like labeling myself an empath, because there's so many people that like to call themselves empaths, but they actually have no idea what they are. But I do feel the pain of others in a very deep level, and I always wanted to help. I still do. I always want to find, the most injured bird that's out there and, do everything in my power. And I couldn't understand why it would never work. Like, why can I not help this person? And it's because, like, the few sessions that I had with you, I think it was 2018. I mean, I can't even remember. That was like the worst year of my life. But I think those few sessions, it made me realize, like, it's because I was completely neglecting myself. Like, there wasn't 1 ounce of kindness or compassion or empathy that I was giving myself, and yet I was trying my hardest to give it to everyone else. And last year, I think I started that process, like trying to, like, really be kind with me, and I think it changed dynamics and relationships with certain people and friendships, and like even like work colleagues and family and very close friends. Like the dynamics in a lot of things changed, like some for the worse, unfortunately, and parted ways with certain people that I thought would always be in my life. But I think, like, it is important. It is so important to, like, have that positive conversation with yourself and that kindness that you're trying to put out there for everyone else. Like, it needs to start with you. It needs to start with you, because you are who you are with. like
Absolutely.
24/7 of every day, you know. So
Mm. And
it's
the thing
hard
is, you
though.
know, see, the thing is that whenever we kind of grow and develop on a personal level, not everybody in our, I mean, it's horrible to think, but not everybody in your life and in my life wants me to grow and wants me to become independent and wants me to become strong and empowered, because it doesn't suit everybody.
Yeah.
You know, we get into these kind of roles in our friendship where one is the victim and one is the rescuer, and that's kind of how we roll. And then suddenly, when you take control, when you take your power back and you are feeling empowered, that really irritates some people. And then yeah, those friendships go, and it's sad, but at the same time, there is nothing more important in this life than your personal growth and development. And I can promise you, the people that are supposed to be in your life, you know, they speak about finding your tribe, and that changes as you change, as you grow and you develop and you become fuller. So you will attract the right people, and all those people want is for you to keep growing and for you to keep shining, you know.
Yeah.
So it doesn't suit everybody that we become empowered and independent.
Yeah,
It's just one of those things.
that reminds me of, I know not a lot of people like this person, but I'm a huge Jordan Peterson fan. And one of his in one of his lectures, he was saying that you've got to identify the old friends or the people in your life who will get in the way of your successes. So if that means that you are on the road to recovery or on the road to career success, and you've got to sort of literally do like a parting and move people out of the way who are toxic or create negative spaces or take you back into past unhealthy environments, that they are going to get in the way of what you know is good for you, and that it's not that they're doing it intentionally. It's just that you are their comfort to them, and you're there almost like, you know, they know all the better. But and also, if you sort of what you would, I guess, call like relapsing in that sort of way, whether it's doesn't necessarily need to be a substance, but going back to your old ways, those are the people that you will go straight back to, because you know that they'll open you with welcome arms. But yeah, you speak quite a lot about that, and that's, I really identified with that, because I think like what Taryn was saying as well, when you finally take that step towards doing what you realize is the right thing, it's really hard when you rip the band-aid off, and you do have to lose certain people, but the ones that stay with you are the ones that support you. And I mean, the people in your life, they end up staying with you for years, and you can really count on them forever. So yeah, hopefully they're all still with us in lockdown.
Yeah.
Hey Taz.
Yeah.
The something that I think is a really good thing that we could chat about is, and this came up as well last week, was the anxiety that I think a lot of us are feeling when we're now thinking ahead a little bit, when we start coming out of lockdown, or whenever that's going to be, or if there is going to be an out of lockdown. But when we have to start adapting to the new normal or the new world, whether that's going back to what your job was, if we're still lucky to have a job, or you know, but coming out of isolation, or going back to a new job, whatever that may be. But I think a lot of people are feeling very lost and anxious, whatever that may be. So in terms of transformation, and I think maybe, I mean, you can correct me if I'm wrong, you would be an ideal guidance platform to go to maybe pave the way, or get some kind of like take pre-steps to getting prepared and getting the right tools for life after lockdown, and whether that's career, relationships, like, you know, in terms of all the things that you try to nurture. Yeah, because I think there's a lot of people who saw lockdown initially, the 21 days, as I know people get cross with me when I say this, as a holiday, but not a holiday, but just, you know, a time to chill a little bit, because initially it was like, we're allowed to do this and this isn't our fault, and then it got extended, and now it's like, okay, we all want to rush back to work, but do we really want to go back to what we were doing? Like, you know, do we want to rush back to what we thought was normal and working like crazy demons? And, you know, so yeah, I think as far as transformation,
the anxiety around that,
this is really nice to be aligned to your field.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the most important thing with moving forward after this is, I think what causes a lot of anxiety is people are not connected to their purpose. They kind of, you go through each day, you put one foot in front of the other, you don't really know why you're doing it, and you're not passionate about it, but you got to pay the bills, and so, you know, life just happens, and it can be meaningless at times. And I think with the life coaching, what it really does for a lot of people is it puts you in touch with your true self, your true identity, and your purpose. That's generally what you will find out from the life coaching. Once you are in alignment with your purpose, anything is possible. You can do whatever you want. It is the strangest thing, and I can't explain it really in words. It's more on an energetic level. But when you are in alignment with your purpose, suddenly the right doors start opening, the right opportunities start presenting themselves, the right people literally cross your path. And it's just this amazing thing. But as long as you kind of just shuffling through life, going through the motions in a meaningless, kind of heartless, not heartless, emotionless way, you're not drawing, you're not putting the energy out there, so you're drawing nothing in. So in terms of the life coaching, what you really do is you connect with yourself. You're the you without the 30 years of crap that's happened to you. And from that point, the world is your oyster. And, you know, the thing is with the anxiety, if you think about, if you catch yourself in an anxious moment, if you feel like you're having a panic attack or you're freaking out about something, ask yourself this. Next time you catch yourself doing this, ask yourself, what am I thinking about now? What is the story that I'm telling myself? Okay. And I can guarantee you that if you are having feelings of anxiety, your thoughts are either thinking about something that you are scared of happening in the future. So there's a fear around what may happen, okay? And it's freaking you out. Or you're feeling shit about something that happened in the past, and you're wishing that it hadn't happened, and you're wishing you could have made it happen differently. And if it hadn't happened, then this wouldn't have happened and that wouldn't have happened. But I can promise you that anxiety is either lying in your thoughts in the future or in the past.
But not about
it is
now.
Never present. In the present moment, if I sit here and I'm chatting to you and I ask myself, okay, Nat, are you okay? The answer is yeah, I'm okay, because I'm present with you now. This is all I'm concentrating on. But when I go into my thoughts and I attach to one of those thoughts and I follow it all the way down the road, I'm screwed. I'm screwed because it's a dark neighborhood in there and you don't want to go in there alone. You know, like take your coach in there with you. But so the thing is, like, a lot of people need to learn, and it's I know you hear it all the time, but I can't stress it enough, how to be present, how to arrest that thought process. You will never, ever stop your mind from running 100 miles an hour. That is what it's designed to do. It's like a computer, and it is trying to solve problems, and that's what it does, and it runs on autopilot. So you have a choice whether you want to attach to those thoughts and run with them and get freaked out, or sit back and say, right, okay, this thought that I'm having now is freaking me out. I'm going to choose to let it go on through. I'm going to watch it. I'm going to wave, and I'm just going to stay present. And that, honestly, that deals with a lot of anxiety. Because what we are stressing about is never happening right now. Life is happening right now in front of you. Every moment, every second, that's where life is. And the reactions that we have, the physical reactions that we have to anxiety and fear are radical. Thoughts are unbelievably powerful, like scarily so.
Yeah.
That if we think about it, if you, for instance, have a radical fear of flying, right? And you have to go to Joburg now tomorrow because you have to. It's not locked down and you can travel. Just throwing that in there.
Level 1.
Okay. Yeah. So you have to go on this trip, right? So you lie in your bed the night before you got to leave, and you think, fuck, I hate flying. I hate flying. I hate flying. I hate airports. Oh, I'm going to be sick. What happens if I have a panic attack? What happens if the door doesn't open? I'm going to be so claustrophobic. Oh, I'm going to be, oh no, what happens if they don't bring the stairs there and I'm stuck in, and anyway, you go through all these scenarios, okay? The truth is that it is so unlikely that any of them are going to happen, okay? But if you think about what happens to you while you're lying in bed thinking of this stuff, you start sweating, your stomach goes into a knot, you can feel your head sort of throbbing, you actually feel nauseous, and you start having a panic attack. Okay, nothing has happened. That is all a response to something that you have thought of. And the chances of any of that happening, it's like, yeah, it's not going to happen. But that's how powerful a thought is, that you can make yourself physically sick lying comfortably in your bed at home thinking about something scary.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's where a lot of the problem is, in the mind.
I love that. I mean, I sort of just listening to you, how you take someone's perspective. I mean, the questions I've asked you, and then you've like kind of unpacked it, as you say, and just taken the perspective of it and changed it a bit. I mean, I love that. And as far as your tips for anxiety, I mean, there's a lot of people that I would love to share that with, and I hope that they're going to listen to this video, so I will share that, but also refer them to you. We've got 5 minutes, and I just quickly want to ask you, I saw another tip on or suggestion on your site, and that was that you said that money is not the root of all evil. And I know that finances and stuff at the moment are a big worry for everyone, with salary cuts and job loss, and now going forward, I mean, who knows what's going to happen to the economy? Not everyone's getting UIF and all that sort of stuff. I mean, at the moment, like, some people are trading with whatever wine they might have left in their cabinets. But yeah, just in terms of money management and also anxiety that comes with that, I'm interested to like even do this as a topic sometime on the chat thing. But yeah, I just wanted to, if you've got anything you want to just like shed some light on.
Yeah, look, I mean, the truth of the matter is the uncertainty regarding finance it's something that's affecting us all. I don't have an answer for you how to grow money on trees or how to generate an income.
Yeah,
but
sure.
All I can say is to not get into that state of absolute fear, okay? Because the more you fear and the more you come at life from a place of lack, the more you create the same. So yeah, I think in order to go out there and be abundant, you have to try and work on your sense of abundance. because everybody, well, not everybody's in the same boat, but we're all in the same storm. And I think it's going to be a tricky year ahead. I think that we need to look at supporting each other, like what you guys are doing now. You are offering support to people in a time that they desperately need it. So looking out for each other and what you can do for your friends' businesses. Something as simple as sharing a post on Facebook or just promoting their business. Because that's where it really starts, is with your circle of friends, and just connecting, I suppose, networking, connecting, and not being too prideful to ask for help, because this is crazy times. So I would say put your pride in your pockets, ask for help, and take the help where it is offered.
Yeah.
Great.
I think lean on your neighbors. Yeah.
Lean on your neighbors. Now's the time to lean on them.
And Natalie, so I mean, on that note of supporting each other's platforms, if anyone wants to get hold of you on a one-on-one basis, because we are very much looking forward to getting you onto our private group chat sessions, maybe this weekend or next week, and we will keep everyone posted with our Zoom invites for that. And just to remind everyone that those are private sessions, and Natalie will be guiding that, and we'll be talking more about this topic, so you guys can all get involved in these video chats. Again, you will need to be a Facebook group member of Lockdown Open Up, and we will be sending out invites for that soon. But Natalie, if anyone listening to this or on our group wants to get in touch with you to maybe get more one-on-one or on your platform with coaching in that in those focus groups, how do they go about that?
Okay, I think the easiest way to get hold of me is on my Facebook page. It's called Ignite Your Life. You can go and have a look at some of my stuff, read through things. You'll get an idea of what I'm about, if you haven't yet. And you can message me on there, and I will make contact with you, and we can set up like this, a little Zoom chat. That's the easiest way. My website is currently under construction. There are some areas of it that are working and some that aren't. I've got somebody working on it at the moment. Otherwise, I'm also on Instagram at natalie.igniteyourlife. So you can also direct message me from Instagram as well.
Awesome. And anyone's welcome to message us as well on the group or via email, lockdownopenupsa@gmail.com, and we will connect you to Natalie and her platform. Natalie also focuses on addiction and recovery, for those who are interested, but for the sake of this week's theme, we're focusing on transformation, positive transformation in light of lockdown. Thanks so much, Natalie. It's been really cool.
Thank you, Nat. It was so good to see your face.
It's a pleasure, guys. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and we'll see you again with the group for our private chat video chats with the other members. We'll set up a time with you soon.
Absolutely. That'll be awesome. I look forward to that.
Cool. Thanks.
Yeah.
A lovely
evening, guys.
Take care. You too. Bye. Bye.